Hey guys, so I'm sorry if I seem low energy. That is because I'm feeling sick and that's not very fun. But I really wanted to turn the camera on. It always puts me in a good mood, it cheers me up right away, and I would love to film the video that I'm going to be filming right now for you guys. And so what it is a dating advice or like a lessons learned type of thing. I've done now, I believe, 6 of these in the past, and I was thinking my last one was going to be just that, the last one. But it turns out I have more thoughts to share that I want to get across, and it's fun to do, fun to talk about. Yes, I'm in a relationship right now. I have a boyfriend, and I don't have to talk about this anymore because, like, I quote found someone, if that makes sense. If that's my thought process, like, if I met someone, I find someone, I don't have to make these types of videos anymore. But I still think it's fun. So these are going to be out of order and all over the place, but I'll just try to do the best I can. So, dating life, let's talk. My Tinder boys were respectful about me being unable to talk anymore. And that's true. So, one of them like faded out and it was natural and comfortable, it was fine. I just let him go. And then the other ones, I was up front and I was like, hey, I think it was only 2 guys at the time. I was like, hey, I'm with somebody right now and we're just uncomfy with the idea of talking to the opposite sex, like each of us talking to the opposite sex. And they were totally nice about understanding. One even said, well, I'm here if you want to talk. That was really cool. So they were very understanding and polite on that regard, which I can really appreciate. This is my first real relationship with no parent involvement. And with Ethan, my abusive ex, technically my first boyfriend, and with my last ex, Chris, my parents were very heavily involved and very nosy and controlling and manipulative. I love my parents, I do, but they're very overprotective of me, and so really the only way for me to date how I wanted to and be in control of my life and myself and my dating life, the only way to do that was to move out. That's not the reason why I moved out, but that's a perk to having moved out. I was able to date on my own accord, according to how I wanted. And so it feels different. It feels a little awkward and uncomfortable because I'm in charge now, if that makes sense. And I have more of a say in my life, which is really nice. Watch for and pay attention to how you feel when you're with them and how you're feeling without them. And so if they make you feel good when you're together, that's great. If they make you feel bad when you're apart, that's wrong. As in, like, that's just to say, like, you want to feel good both with and without them. If without them you feel better, you feel a step up, you feel improved, you feel important, you feel needed, you feel good about yourself, then that's a red flag right there, because that means with that person they make you feel miserable about yourself. And you don't want that. So you want to run away from that. With my last ex, I didn't like who I was or how I felt around them. So nothing against him, and I loved him so much as a person. I was very romantically attached to him and attracted to him. But I didn't like who I was. I didn't feel like I was good enough, and that was partly on me. I was just reading it wrong a lot at the time, and so I put it on myself that I wasn't enough. And this relationship feels different, and it's a different kind of love, and I'm loving it. And that's so true. Like, it feels so good and natural and comfortable and easy, and it won't always feel that way. I know there will be times when it's hard. If we're meant to be, we're meant to be. If we're not meant to be, we'll break up, you know? That's just how it works. Either you stay with them or you move away from them. Like, those are the only options you have when you're dating someone, anyone. Like, you either stay together or you break up. And right now, it just feels so good, and it feels right. It really does. And he said he's happy to see me happy again, but I was happy being single too. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So my previous ex, he reached out to me. He'd made a comment on one of my vlogs. It was a dating advice type of thing I did before. And he was, quote, happy to see me happy. And I had the thought, like, you can be happy by yourself. You don't need somebody else to automatically be or feel happy. You don't need someone to make you feel that way. You can feel that way internal, in the inner core. Your being can decide to be happy without someone else. And I was very happy in between my ex and Steven. I don't need anybody. You know what I mean? I have myself, and that's enough. I believe in myself enough. I love myself enough to take care of myself enough to where I'm content being alone. So I thought that was really interesting that he would say that kind of comment, and that's a very common thread with people's thought processes regarding the dating scene, and they view it as happiness, like you're happy with the person. But I was happy being single too, you know? So I thought that was an interesting comment. I didn't know how to be in a relationship. I was either abused or it was long distance. So I was either abused or in a long distance relationship. That's what I mean. Yeah, I didn't know how to be with somebody more often. Actually, he was so sweet the other day. He left that morning. He could have stayed until I hung out with my friend, but he was very respectful of my time and my introvert needs, and he left. He said, okay, I'm going to give you a breather. I could stay up until your friend comes to grab you from your apartment, but I suppose it would grab you from your friend and picks you up. But he decided to leave. He was very polite that way. He knew that I was getting kind of like burnt out because it was a long, hard work week last week, and I was just very burnt out. And so I'm trying to navigate and understand how to go about it with dating somebody and seeing them almost every day. Before, it wasn't that way at all. Like, I would see Chris like once a year sometimes, in the time that we knew each other. Social obligation burnout. And this was what I talked to my dad about, and he was like, that's kind of funny. And it is. I think it is. Like, you're obligated to hang out with them. Like, it's not a have to, it's a want to, it's a get to, it's a desire that's filled, spending time with somebody that you love and care about. And I view it as like a social obligation burnout sometimes, because I need to take care of myself and take some time for myself too. Just a few more thoughts. If you love hard, you know how hard it is to move on from someone. Yes, and with my previous ex, like, I loved him hard, and it was always a glimmer of hope when I would hear from him, like just a random text or something, and we don't talk anymore, not really, but it's time to put it in the past, and I'll cherish those really good times that we did have. And I love hard. I love with all of my soul and being. I guess that was just the AC that sounded weird. Those words don't sound. Anyway, it's hard to move on from someone who you love so very much, who you give your all to, I miss him, but the mistreatment wasn't worth it. So that was regarding my previous, like, 2 exes ago. Well, I can't say that because I have dated other guys, but it hasn't been as serious. Really, 3 guys have been more serious. There was one guy in high school to make it 4, but I'll say 3. But my first ex, I remember I missed him hard, and we were on and off for like 2 years. I would always go back to him. I would break up with him, I would go back to him. And I miss him, but the mistreatment wasn't worth it. He was very into sex, and it was abusive, and he was manipulative and very controlling, and it was just very, very unhealthy and very, very toxic. And let me see if I said everything. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said everything. I think about my one guy friend who I was talking to for like half a year. We started talking straight away, like right around the time when I started to date again, when I opened up my profiles. And that was from like November to June technically. And we haven't talked for the past few weeks now, ever since I've been together with Steven, because I want to be comfortable in our relationship. And it's just, to me, it's not right to talk to the people who you used to talk to, or like guy friends, or in his case, his girlfriends. It's just fair. But yeah, I think about him, and it makes me really sad. It was eye-opening to me because it made me think of my previous ex and how you can love somebody so hard but know it won't work out. And with me and my previous ex, I think we deep down knew we might not work, but we still tried anyway, and we just carried it on and carried it out until it didn't work in the end. And that was how me and this other guy was, who I knew for like 6 months, was talking to for like 6 months. And I loved him a lot. And I don't think I cried over him because we weren't as serious ever. But it was very much up and down. Like, he would say he liked me, then he didn't. He liked me, but he didn't. And it was just all over the place and unfair and cruel and unjust. I don't know. But it's just, you can't treat people like that. And you can't allow yourself to be treated that way. So I'm glad that that's over. I liked the good times. That's the thing about people. Whether they're friends, family members, partners, whoever they are, you can let them go. You can cherish the good times, take the good times, remember those good times forever, but you have the right, the human right and privilege, where you can let them go. If they're not serving you, if the relationship, the situation, if it's unhealthy or unfair or just not serving you anymore, you have the right to leave. You can walk away. And I think people forget that. They become so interconnected and they love the person so very much that it's almost impossible for them to even think of the thought that they can leave. So just know that you can. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. You will find somebody else. If you want to, you will find somebody else. Someone who's meant for you and made for you and right for you. So that's what I wanted to say. And I'm gonna go probably sleep because I do not feel good. But it was really good to film. I'll do more of these probably. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Stephen is really good, and I don't know, it just feels so right and fun. So anyway, thanks for listening. I was happy to talk. Goodbye.